You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, episode 7.
You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, the #1 resource for growing your function musician business. If you're a solo wedding singer, part of a 12-piece luxury show band, or anything in between, and want to learn from other successful musicians, you're in the right place.
You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, and as usual, I am your host, Jack Twiner. I am really excited about this episode. Today's guests, this is the first three-way conversation I've had, which I really enjoyed. Today's guests really understand that their band is a business, and that you need to treat it as a business, which is basically what this whole podcast is about. They're super hardworking, always trying different tactics on social media to see what works. And as I learned from talking to them, they keep track of everything in spreadsheets as well, which I absolutely loved because that's the kind of stuff that I like to do. I think there are so many valuable takeaways in this episode. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy my conversation with JBMAC. You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, and on today's episode, I'm excited to be chatting with Nora and Josh, otherwise known as JBMAC, the international dance duo based out of Henley-on-Thames. With over 20 years experience between them and over 100 yearly gigs, including weddings, corporate and residencies, JBMAC are no strangers to getting the party started. With nothing but 5-star ratings and rave reviews from every client, they truly are the experts in their field. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
Hey, good to be here.
Thanks for having us.
So you were actually on my initial list of people to contact when I was first putting this sort of thing together. So I was really happy when you guys messaged me first about it. And some of the reasons that I wanted to have you on are, I think you're doing something pretty original, something that I definitely haven't seen anyone else doing. And also you're killing it as well, really good at it. But
too kind.
It seems like you are constantly gigging though and working really hard to grow the band, which kind of brings me to the last point, is that you seem to have a really good grasp of how important content is and social media and things like that. You're always doing different things on there and trying different things, it seems. And I think you show a good amount of like behind the scenes stuff as well, which makes it really easy for people to follow your journey. But we'll get into all of that a little bit later. Firstly, I'd like to go back and find out a little bit about how you individually started and your journeys there and kind of what brought you together to start this thing. So who would like to go first?
I think Josh can take it away first.
Oh, okay.
Josh, take it away,
He was born
man.
first, though.
Yeah, that's true. So I've always been surrounded by music, and I'm very grateful about that. Both my parents, keen listeners as well as musicians. And it was always encouraged in our house to, pick up an instrument or sing or be involved in some sort of way musically. And I was drawn to drums, and that was encouraged, and it came pretty naturally to me, which is awesome. And but fast forwarding a bit, around the age of 11, I started getting into music production and making beats at my dad's house. And I loved it. It was a program called Dance EJ and Rave EJ, which is basically, samples cut to size, and you just, making loops and building a track. And I loved it. And at a similar time, I was massively into The Prodigy, and I was just obsessed with everything they did and released. And they are renowned for their live act as well as the tunes they released. And I guess they're sort of pioneers of DJ live, if you like, in my opinion, really taking dance music to a live performance with, live vocals, some live instruments and stuff like that, and just been obsessed ever since. And I'll cut it off there.
I'll resume the story.
Yeah.
And I've got more of like a performing arts background. So I kind of did stage school growing up, kind of was interested in everything. And then as I got older, kind of just focused more on the singing because I always had a bit more of a pop voice and a musical theatre voice. And just started gigging and loved it a lot. And, always loved dance music. I'm a dance teacher as well. So it kind of is the genre that kind of spans both of them. And trained, had lessons and been doing it since I was like 10 or 11 years old, similar to Josh actually. We were both in, kind of traditional function bands before. And then Josh actually had the idea for this project? So.
Yeah, it was sort of pre-lockdown, really. My friends were encouraging me to get into like YouTube videos and drum videos, which didn't really take off. But my focus was always drumming for DJs or rappers or both, rather than, just covering rock or metal, which I mostly played on drums. I loved Chase and Status and Pendulum, which use a lot of live drummers, whether they're acoustic drums or electric. And so I always had this earmarked as a side project. And like Nora said, we were in Functions band together, and circumstances sort of forced it into life, really, which we're both really grateful for. It's been a roller coaster journey, but one that we've both thoroughly enjoyed regardless. And
people say, when you haven't got a plan B, like you make the plan A work, and like this was our plan A, and I think we've just gone fully into it, and I think we're kind of starting to reap the rewards of that now, which is nice.
Because it hasn't been going for that long, am I right? Only sort of a couple of years, year and a half maybe. We
technically launched, like our first show reel was like the beginning of November 2022.
Not that long.
Not long at all. No. And I do feel like, although we had experience in gigging and different bands and stuff in the past, and know people in the industry, I feel like we were completely from scratch.
Yeah, it really.
Yeah, I suppose in those other function bands, then you were just like the musicians in there, not the band leader or whatever.
Yeah.
So is this the first experience of that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I've done a few like solo gigs as just a singer. So you take your own bookings and stuff, but not on the scale of organising other musicians and stuff.
We've pulled stuff together for other people. Like in the past, a friend would message me saying that their friend's getting married. Could I throw a band together? So I'd just say, of course, But if you inverted commas running a band, I'd say, this is the first.
Yeah, again, exactly why one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because it seems like from your social media and stuff, and from the little I do know you as well, that you kind of get that this is a business and not just like a band. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it seems like, you've got a good handle on how to kind of run it. So, so what are some of the strategies and things that you've sort of done over the last couple of years that have made it grow so quickly as well? So
both of us separately have run and do run our own companies as well, whether they were limited companies or, sole trading, like Nora has a dance school. I've run a couple of companies before, as well as both having tons of experience in the music industry. So there's lots of skills to draw upon. But recently, Nora's really flown with the social media and online marketing stuff.
Yeah, like I've got a business degree, not that I ever really particularly used it in the jobs I went into straight from uni, but that I always loved the strategy side of things. And I knew we weren't really utilizing the digital side of things initially. We were kind of banking on word of mouth and just, get your website up and, set up all the socials, but we weren't actively getting leads into our website and stuff. So I was really keen to find out ways to do that better. And I came across a digital marketing course in Reading that was actually free, and it was for small businesses and stuff. So I did that for 16 weeks or something crazy. It was a long time. But it wasn't necessarily stuff I didn't already know. It was just having that weekly check-in and getting the habits in place. So that was kind of a really big kick for us, I think. But I think naturally over time of us just establishing ourselves, when we first launched, it was just a lot of cold emails and cold calling and messaging friends to message friends and that kind of stuff. And as we've just gigged more, our network is just spreading, and I find that naturally we are just receiving more inquiries and messages now because more people are hearing about us. And I think we've got what we're offering is, like you said, it's a bit different, it's a bit more fresh, and I think it's working in our favour.
Yeah, it's funny, we were on a few Facebook groups as well, just not necessarily posting, but it's interesting seeing what people say about social media and what you've said, how our Instagram appears to an outsider. And, some people receive comments like social media doesn't work, and the amount of direct messages and bookings we've got saying, I wasn't really sure, inundated with applications, but after looking at your Instagram and seeing how active you are, we really get to see what you're like.
Yeah.
And that's really, really awesome to hear.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, you seem to show quite a lot of your personality off on there, and I think that's one of the key things that it's for is so people can get to know you and like you and trust you, and therefore then book you. What is your kind of strategy at the minute? Do you have any sort of like weekly posting schedule or certain posts on certain days, anything like that, or is it kind of just ad hoc, kind of when you whatever pops into your mind?
It's interesting. I guess there is technically a strategy. It's more like daily habits we're trying to do. So in terms of social media, I'm posting 3 reels a week and stories as much as we can. Whether that's resharing reels or posting, where we're at, where we're gigging, etc. Because we are gigging a lot more this year. It's kind of easier. Like Christmas time, we had like 15 gigs in December. So every other day we had footage from the gig we've just done. So creating content was really easy. The quieter months, like January for us, was a lot more difficult. So we have to get a bit more creative. But usually I'm like, Josh, what are you thinking? Throw some ideas at me, and then we kind of come together at something in the middle. Like today, our reel was we're doing an Ibiza chill video. We're recording it tomorrow. It's like if we're off like a drinks reception, offering more of like a relaxed vibe. So it's like all your favorite songs, but like just given that kind of like Ibiza chill dance feel. But we don't have the video yet, and we kind of a bit short on content. So I was like, okay, let's get some B-roll footage. Let's put the vocal recording that we've already done over it and a bit of a teaser. And so it's, there's always something you can do. There's always old footage that you can, regurgitate or remake. And that was a big thing I took from the course I did actually. She was like, we've got hundreds of reels banked. It's like, what can we reuse? What can we, make out of it? Because, someone has just followed us last week. They haven't seen the stuff we posted before. So don't be afraid to reuse stuff. Community groups we utilize a lot actually. So we're kind of in all the local ones near us, and they have kind of designated.
Is that like Facebook groups? Yeah,
Facebook community groups. Yeah. So designated days you can post. So we've kind of got a spreadsheet with those on, and we do those on the days that we're allowed to. But yeah, our strategy is basically as many touch points as possible, because if we look at where our gigs come from, we've got a bit of a database and a spreadsheet to see, and it's a massive mixture. Like some of it's live gig, some of it's a recommendation, some of it's residencies, some of it's websites, some of it's Instagram, some of it's LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn wasn't something I was utilizing before.
I never touch it.
I've never even been on it myself.
We both have like different backgrounds, and I had quite a massive network of people. I used to work in corporates, and every time I'd have a new job, you had everyone in the business. So there's all these people that would be putting on, weddings or corporates or whatever. Events, that we're not utilizing and we're not friends with on Facebook. So they're starting to kind of see us on there, and the algorithm's starting to pick up. But it's not something I would have thought to utilize, but it's helping. Yeah, for sure.
Firstly, I love that you have a spreadsheet of all that kind of data of where you're getting things from. What's like your, like the biggest one? What is it? Website or Instagram or anything?
It's actually just rebookings is the main one.
Yeah.
Residencies, in terms of income and number of gigs. But yeah, there's an agency we use. It's more of like an online booking platform that's like a close second, purely because we can message the clients directly. I think anything when you have like a third party, although, we are with agencies that do that, it slows down the process, and I think kind of doesn't work in our favor.
Do you use TikTok or anything like that? Or
yeah, so when we do our reels on Instagram, we post on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and LinkedIn. Yeah, all at the same time. So
I mean, you're gonna have to forgive me. As I said, I've literally never been on LinkedIn before. So how does it kind of work on there? Is it, because I know it is a social media platform, but I thought it was for like your resumes and stuff like that, right? Or am I thinking way too in the past? Yeah, so it's for job hunting, or connecting with people in your industry. So although, I'm speaking on behalf of my network, there's not a heavy music network in there, but if part of your job as a social media marketer or whatever, if you're in a digital realm, you're kind of scrolling through
LinkedIn and looking for things, and then you just come across a reel of us, kind of breaks up your day a bit and goes, oh, what's this? Have a little watch. Oh, they offer gigs. It's just that, you never know what someone needs and when they need it, and we could be the thing that they need. So be in as many places as we can.
Yeah, interesting. As I said, I've not heard of anyone using that before as well, so that's super interesting. I was wondering, is there anything that you've tried over the sort of the last year and a half or whatever that hasn't worked?
It's tough to say. Definitely in the early stages, we felt like we had no choice but to sort of email hundreds of people, like, cold emailing rather than cold calling. And funnily enough, a lot of the venues that we ended up playing in never saw and never replied to our emails.
Oh, really?
Or just disregarded it.
Yeah, it ended up being either going in person or a referral from a colleague at a partner venue. Not to put people off trying that, because we did get some responses. But, if you're looking at percentage rates, it wasn't very high.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a numbers game, that, isn't it? You've got to do so many.
Like flyering, you expect like 1%,
if that. Yeah. And I'd say it was mainly for wedding venues that it didn't work. Other venues we got a bit more response from. Yeah. Wedding venues, it's more like you book through the bride and groom. So, we were hoping that venues would see us and go, oh, this band are awesome, let me recommend them to our brides and grooms. Whereas they're not fussed about doing that. They want the bride and groom to either use their recommended supplier already or find their own.
Just take a booking.
They just have to deal with the booking or want to deal with the booking. So, it's finding the brides and grooms directly, really, that was the focus for weddings, for sure.
What's sort of your split with style of gigs at the minute? And do you have like a preference? Do you prefer doing weddings, or do you prefer doing corporate stuff or party gigs?
We definitely have more weddings than corporates, for sure.
Yeah.
We've kind of quadrupled our weddings this year, so it's a good year for us. But we do a lot of local stuff as well.
Yeah, we sort of, once we started to make friends with the managers and stuff, we sort of came to agreements where they booked us 9 or 10 or more months of the year for a slightly reduced rate than we would offer for a private booking. So that takes up a lot of dates, but
it fills the gaps for sure.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of parties and weddings this year, which is awesome.
Yeah, majority weddings, a few birthdays, a few corporates, but in terms of private bookings, weddings are definitely the number one there. I think people are just excited about having something different.
Yeah.
The people that have booked us for their weddings this year haven't waited around for a long time before making a decision. It's been quite they found us and they've gone, oh my God, one lady
some haven't even spoken to their partner.
Yeah, one booked us and paid the deposit without even speaking to her fiance. She was like, he thought I was just booking a DJ, but I saw you and I couldn't not book you. So I was like, okay, hope you don't cancel, because when he finds out. Yeah.
That sort of I think goes into you've picked a niche really well, and I guess if and there's obviously nothing against being in a normal sort of function band, but there's so many to choose from. It could take months to wade through them all and try and find the one that is right for you. But with you guys, because you're so quite specific and a bit different, if someone comes across you, they're like, yes, that's what I want, and they'll just go for it straight away. Yeah,
it's tended to be people that want electronic Ibiza, that's tend to be what they've been looking for when they found us.
Yeah.
Or they've just not been bothered about a band at all, and they've been looking just for a DJ, and then have upscaled to us. But it wasn't really intentionally picking a niche. It was
that was going to be my next question. Yeah, did you do that intentionally?
I would say I did.
Okay.
I specifically wanted to play live drums for electronic music.
Yeah.
Nero, Chasing Status, The Prodigy, Travis Barker had a duo, which was exactly what I wanted to do. Live drums one side, DJ the other side. Just play it out for an hour and a half until you're dead.
But I suppose you picked that because you wanted to play it, not because you thought this would be just something different that people would like, or
it's a bit of both. I wouldn't expect to be booked as much as another band, until you really get a name for yourself, which could be, 3 to 5 years down the line, depending on your sort of, visibility. But yeah, it was more because I wanted to do it rather than
looking for like a gap in the market.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I also think there's so much to be said for that, because there's nothing more soul destroying than rocking up to a gig different gigs 3 times a week, singing songs you don't particularly enjoy.
Yeah.
My side,
it's
anyway.
not worth the money for me. No.
So I think one thing that the venues that rebook us like about us is that they're not going to hear exactly the same set list month on month. We're constantly like adding new songs and changing things around and adding new mashups and stuff, because we enjoy it and we're excited about stuff that we're playing. So they get the kind of benefits from that.
Yeah. Or even
Again, I think that comes across on your social media as well.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
Yeah, cool.
So you guys have a website. There's a lot of debate of whether people should or shouldn't have websites or whether they're needed. Your website looks really good. It's really slick. Do you get much coming through it, or?
We have had more since we started doing the digital course. So we had a website, but we kind of reworked it with the guidance from the lady that was running the course I was on, because I was just, we weren't utilizing SEO optimization at all. And it wasn't something I really thought about, making it accessible, like all the alt text you write on your pictures and stuff, because everything's helping the Google ranking. So that even if people were just typing in like party band Oxfordshire, we're coming up higher now because we've got it all sorted. I don't think we would initially or essentially use Google like ads or anything yet. But a lot of people coming through our website from social media, from LinkedIn and stuff. So although we're not necessarily getting a huge amount from Google directly, people are searching for us because they've seen us elsewhere. So a lot of the people that click on our website have like directly searched JBMAC on Google. And we're moving up the rankings. I think we're something like...
Yeah, it takes time though, right?
Yeah, I think we're something like 63 when people type party band Oxfordshire or something like that. But it's gone up from where it was. And people are finding us, so that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Did you do all of your website yourselves and all that SEO stuff as well?
Yeah. There's like a software who's actually local to Henley where we're based, called Screaming Frog. You can download it and it does like what's it called? Like a little... scans your website and things you can do to improve it for SEO. So that kind of did that and kind of gets rid of any faults or problems you have. It was just, great tool.
Might have to do that on my own. I haven't done any SEO stuff on mine yet. It's on the to-do list, but it feels like quite a big job, and I don't really know enough about it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was like, okay, is it keywords? But that's like a tiny part of it. It's just making sure that everything. So some people will add loads of words, like say we want to gig in lots of different counties. They'll add like Surrey, Oxfordshire, Berkshire, Buckinghamshire, but will move you down the rankings on Google because you're kind of overloading it. So when people think they're actually getting found more, they're actually penalizing themselves. So like learning that kind of stuff was huge, like actually being really selective about what you say and what you write.
Yeah. So I also saw, last year now, that you started to getting on planes and doing some international gigs, which is awesome.
Yeah.
How did you go about that, or did it just sort of come about by accident? Are you planning to do more of that?
Oh yeah, we'd absolutely love to do more.
Yeah, it was fairly deliberate, especially if they require the live drums. I've got the cocktail kit set up that you saw when you filmed us. We figured out that can condense down into only 2 bags. It's like a Russian doll effect. Yeah. So we love the idea of it, and we know that we can be compact in our setup. So provided there's an AV team on site and we can plug into their system, we can go anywhere with it, which is great.
Yeah. Your style is perfect for like summer parties by a beach, right?
Yeah, and especially with our new Ibiza a chill set list and get those bookings in. We could have did a week with a couple of gigs in Spain last year, and that was like a recommendation for an agency, which we kind of applied for, and she set up a meeting with us and then came through with a call like, you'd be perfect for this. But another one, I don't know if you call it international, Belfast, but we went on a plane, so we'll call it, even though it's national. That was really cool in December. That was an awards ceremony which was sick. We played After Boys Live, which was an experience.
Nice.
Yeah. For the big league.
So is that going to be like an intentional goal for this year as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're always looking. Yeah, we've been messaging like resorts and places where we want to play. So you can like tag on a bit.
Nice. Okay. So are you still doing sort of cold emails as well, or?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, we are, for not lack of options, but we see a place that we want to play, but there's like a contact at beachresort.com. You don't know where that goes, so you just sort of hit and hope, really.
I think like in my brain, I'm always like, you never know.
Yeah.
It just takes out one person that's looking for something like us. Like we got an inquiry for a wedding and we needed to call the venue for some reason to kind of find out the contact for the day and stuff. So we knew what we were doing. And she went, oh, can you just let me know, what your website address is? Have a quick look. And she opened the page and was like, oh my God, you guys are awesome. We're so excited to have you. And as you can see on our website, we have a lot of like regular suppliers. So they're obviously in need of something a bit different. So it was nice actually that we just randomly called her. She opened our website and, I'm guessing she'd add us to the supplier list after this wedding because she seemed pretty keen. But that was like a cold message, if anything. So it's nice to know that they do work. It's just a small percentage, as you said.
So what sort of just sending out of like a blanket email, or are you really personalizing them and like focusing on trying to focus on exactly who you're writing to?
Well, there's always an element of a template, but it's always tailored. Yeah, always. There's like a platform we use where we have like 8 templates. And there's like a couple of lines, you adapt or whatever, but it's always personal. But there are always generic things that everybody wants to know when they book you. Yeah. It just saves the job our end right now every time.
Here's the lineup. Here's our socials. Here's our contacts. Here's our most recent video. Here's the easiest way to contact us.
Yeah.
So another thing I saw you guys doing a little while ago was that you had a radio show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It's sort of a double-edged sword, really. We sort of signed up to that last year, where we were sort of really spreading our net. We wanted to discover new songs, which was awesome. Find new remixes. The radio, chatting about music and playing new tunes to each other is fun. It was local. We knew a lot of the people already on the station, and they like have a mobile set up at like Pub in the Park in Marlow and other festivals that we've been to or want to play at. And it was great. But the downside was that the busier we got with bookings, which is really positive, the less time we had for that. So currently we've got scheduled shows that we upload rather than present live.
Right. Are you finding that bookings are coming in from that?
Not so much. We just got a bit busier with bookings generally as our visibility grew.
Yeah.
Is that just something that you wanted to do for yourselves, or was that like a part of trying to grow this band as well?
It's a part of like just something we wanted to do as people, and also I think spreading our net as wide as we could in any direction. Like you said, you never know who you come in contact with or anything like that. And one of the main things for me was like having the habit of constantly looking for new music.
Yeah, what's New Music Friday, and
a lot of our repertoire
to search
now has come through stuff we discovered. And actually, I think Ibiza Chill was inspired by our radio show as well.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
we had like a section at the end where we do like some chilled remixes and find
four remixes.
Yeah,
really stripped back.
Find our favourites, and we were like, oh, we could actually do this for our kind of a wedding package or
we've got
beach
an hour and a half
set.
set now.
Yeah.
So, Josh, am I right in thinking that you've added like DJ onto this sort of package that you go out as well?
Yeah. Again, that was sort of a natural progression from what we were already offering. So, I find that when you find a decent backing track, if I want to remove the majority of the drums to really show what I can do live, it sort of results in a lot of phasing in the tracks, which I don't think particularly sound fantastic to me. And also, if you're buying tailored backing tracks, you can't rely on the quality of what the person's created. So short of making all our backing tracks from scratch, it's sort of a mixed bag. I do enjoy DJing. You know, when I was in secondary school, and garage was a thing. I would go around a mate's house, you know, mix some terrible garage on vinyls while they're like emceeing. And so and with the music production, there's a history of sort of, you know, DJing. So I love it. I do still enjoy drumming, but my focus is more DJing and using like a Roland trigger pad for percussion and, you know, samples and things like that. So it's more DJ live now.
I'd say DJ is the core of every package now, whereas it wasn't necessarily to start with.
Yeah, it opens up a huge repertoire as well, because you're not relying on awesome quality backing tracks that I can play to.
Yeah, that's good. That's good that you kind of see that and adapt to it as well. I think my main question was, did you have to learn how to DJ just to add this in as a package, or did you kind of already know how to do it?
Not really. I mean, yeah, at my age, I find it, I can still pick up new skills relatively quickly, but I'm not going to say like I'm a tech genius and I can just look at a piece of equipment and know my way around it. However,
he's one of these people that's good at everything, essentially.
Do not pay attention to that. Yeah.
He's quick to pick things up. Yeah,
I've picked up, you know, basic skills along the way, which has resulted in getting by. Okay.
He's just being modest now. But yeah, he's DJ'd before, he's got experience. It was just dusting off the cobwebs, I think, if anything.
Yeah, the fear of jumping into something new when someone's paying you to perform, you know, spurs you on a bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys are a couple, right? How does that kind of dynamic work? So you're basically living and working together, I assume.
Oh, I knew you were going to do
that. There hasn't been any problems really. I mean, you know, you can clash heads, but it's a job, and we're both.
Is there? Do you run this thing like together, or is one of you kind of like not the boss, but you know what I mean, like more in charge? Or
I mean, it's both of our full-time jobs, and we both bring very different strengths to the project that really complement each other. So
yeah.
Just going back to the spreadsheets thing, one day, I think it was at the end of last year, maybe autumn last year, I was like, it'd be really good to have a rundown of this, and this, how much, you know, reach we've got with this platform, how much response from this one. And Nora was like, I'm on it. And about half an hour later, we had like a full-on spreadsheet, multiple tabs. You alter one cell in one sheet, it populates the next in the other.
Basically, I did like an intermediate Excel course in one of my jobs before, and I was so excited to get involved with it.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that.
Some days Nora will be like, okay, I've edited this whole video. This is a show reel for this. And I'm like, sick. And other days she'll be like, I need some help. And I'm like, how about this?
Yeah.
We've kind of created roles for ourselves. Like it was a very joint effort for everything to start with. And then we've kind of found our strengths. Like we've kind of given me the role of more like marketing. So I'm kind of like on the social media and stuff. And Josh is more the creative role. So like set lists, lineups, videos. So we kind of meet in the middle, but we have our kind of
there is a
areas.
Little bit of like Nora saying, I like this track. And I'm like, nope. But, you know,
keeps me in check.
Aside from that, there's, you know, it works well.
Yeah. Cool.
Thankfully.
Would you have any tips or where would you say for someone who's just sort of getting into the industry to kind of get started with this thing?
I think from what I've learned is, you know, it's frustrating starting a new thing whilst having like years of knowledge of how it works already and having to resell yourself. But I would say, like, don't be put off by, one, rejection, and two, no response at all. Just keep persevering. It sounds so cliche, but just really stick at it, you know. We try not to compromise much when we get requests. You know, like, we'd just, you know, finish a drum and bass song and someone's like, oh, Sweet Caroline will go down so well right now. And we're like, we don't doubt that it would, but that's not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a gig the other day and someone was like, oh, I don't suppose you could play Wonderwall, could you? And I was like, it's not really in our repertoire, I'm afraid. And he was like, no, totally respect that. That's cool. And I'm like, when you're just true to you, people aren't even offended.
Yeah, I think just do what you love for long enough and it will become your job.
Yeah.
They say it's the people that don't give up are the people that make it.
So. You only fail when you stop trying, I think.
Yeah.
And like, for me, it's that doing something every single day to move you closer to where you want to be. Like if you want to be earning X amount and you're earning Y currently, what's the gap? Like how many gigs do you need to be getting to fill that gap? And do you have enough time for that? And what do you need to charge in order to get that? Like that's when we really get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, so like 12 weddings will get us to the fee we want. Okay, cool. Where do we need to be putting our efforts? Where do we need to be... what videos do we need to be posting? Like, where do we need to be posting them? So, going, I want to earn loads of money doing what I love is awesome. But there's also, you can get a bit more strategy with it too. But spread your net anywhere and everywhere, I think. Yeah. The strategy as well.
Not going to lie, it does become a 7-day job.
Yeah. For everyone that's self-employed, knows that pain.
Yeah, I used to do gardening, glamping, DIY stuff. I'm responding to emails and sending quotes Sunday night, Saturday night, Friday night. Yeah. But
it also does allow you a lot of freedom too. Like we're not tied into timings. We can take calls when we want. Yeah. We could take holiday when we want. We can tag holiday onto work, So although it is a 7-day week job, it's also giving you that freedom as well.
Are you guys good at like scheduling your weeks to have days off? Because that's something that I struggle with is having a set day off. But I think it's important, like, because you end up working like 7 days a week and then you've done 3 weeks of 7 days a week. And then you're like, I need a day off. And just to get like pumped again to like do the work. Do you know what I mean?
I totally agree. One thing that we've started scheduling in and sort of not compromising on is going to the gym. If you can't go to the gym, just do some exercise. And I am shattered most of the time, but going to the gym, does energize me for the rest of the day. So that's something that we weren't doing before, but we've found time for.
Yeah.
And it does sort of set you up. So having a schedule.
And a good bit of fresh air and a good walk always resets. But like, there was a point the other day, I think I was just doing something, one of the most basic tasks, and I deleted something which all I needed to do was press undo, and I just burst into tears because I was like, it's gone wrong.
Shut the laptops, we're going for a walk. Where? I don't know, don't care.
Just get out. Yeah. So we're pretty good at pulling each other out. We need to keep all that.
Not scheduling days off, but we find time for fresh air and daylight.
Yeah. I imagine because you've got each other, it does really help when one of you is feeling lower, and just to bring the other one up and stuff. My wife's also self-employed, so different job, but it's super helpful to have each other on those days. Definitely.
Just get it.
So what's next for you guys? What you got planned for this year? Anything big coming up?
We've got a video shoot tomorrow, which offers our 3-piece package, which seems to be the most popular and the one that we offer the most. So we're doing a more deliberate video to show the Ibiza Chill duo for chilled sets and the 3-piece package, which we're targeting a lot. So very deliberate video and show reel filming tomorrow.
What's the third member doing?
Sax. So it's nice. DJ Roland Pad, live vocals, sax.
It's just so popular at the moment. Yeah. Everyone wants a DJ sax live. And we've had a couple of gigs where people have wanted a DJ and sax, and we've gone in the 2-piece and they've gone, oh, actually, this is sick. But I wouldn't have thought about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's people that we're finding a lot of, they're like, I didn't know we wanted you until we found you. So it's just trying to get in front of as many people as possible.
Acoustic duo or DJ sax. And so we've gone, how about DJ vocals? And they're like, yeah. But the 3-piece video is a very big move this year for us. I think it's going to do well.
Yeah, like it's a big year for us just in terms of bookings in general. Like we've almost outdone our performance last year with bookings and income, and it's only February time, and we always get bookings in the year that we're in as well, in terms of like, you know, a few months away or last minute or whatever. So I don't doubt that it's going to be a whopping year for us compared with last year. So yeah, just keep going.
Nothing crazy different, just more of the same, but you know, embracing
more established
the change. Yeah.
Yeah, as I said, it looks like you guys work really hard on it. So congratulations on it going so well, basically.
Thank you. It's nice to hear.
So I guess that kind of brings us to the sort of last part of the show, which is the best gig, worst gig part, which is basically just a time to share any cool stories you've got, or brag a little bit about some cool stuff that you've done, or share some of the not so good experiences as well. Have you got any cool stories for us?
What's like the bad or the good?
I've got a good one in mind. That trip to Spain last year was such a cool experience for us. It was an awesome event with awesome people, and it was all expenses paid as well. We loved our performance. It was swelteringly hot, but it didn't matter. We just went for it, and it was awesome for us. Yeah.
Just like nice when you go to a gig, regardless of where it is, and you get treated really nicely. And like most of the time that is the case, but it's not always the case. So when you get put up in a 4-star luxury resort with gourmet food every day, gorgeous pools, lovely weather, amazing people, and you get paid to be there, like it's just a really awesome experience, and we would love more of those.
Yeah.
We played, like we mentioned, in Belfast, the CMA Awards, basically when we got on a flight and have our best gigs. Just getting really looked after and having an awesome gig. Like I think everyone had been sitting down at these awards all evening, and we were doing the after party, and they were just ready to let loose. So we just had an awesome crowd.
Similarly, we did a 40th birthday in someone's back garden, and you know, it wasn't a 4-star resort, but the crowd was like up in our faces and just responded to every song. I think any gig where even 3 or 4 people were just, you know, in it with you, it just makes all the difference. Yeah. There are favourites, of course. Yeah.
In terms of bad gigs, like I wouldn't necessarily we have bad gigs, but quieter ones we've had. There've been tend to be ones earlier on, because we needed to sell ourselves more. I think sometimes we persuaded our way into a couple of gigs, which was the wrong strategy. Only accept gigs of people that want you and are actively seeking you out. If you have to persuade anyone, it's not right for you. We had one gig we were put forward a couple of days before, and they hadn't looked at our repertoire. They just wanted like an upbeat duo.
And that's all they read.
That's all they read. Didn't look at our set list. And we walked up, and it was like majority over 80 with Zimmer frames, and it's just not our target.
It was the sort of gig where they brought their own picnic to the venue. And that was tough. That was a tough gig.
Yeah, to keep the client happy, we ended up, you know, just putting on a playlist of the tunes they wanted and not doing our final set.
Spotify, family friendly.
Party tunes. It was like "Come On Eileen" and all that stuff. We were like, okay, we'll play the songs you want and save my voice, to be honest. I had like a chest infection at the time, which wasn't ideal either. But yeah, and in terms of the quieter gigs, it tends to be when venues pay for musicians to come, but they don't promote music.
Them. Yeah.
And you see the ones that do, like we play at O'Neill's Woking once a month, and it is just, they're on it. They're posting live videos of you at the gig. They're posting posters and, you know, reels and stuff. People know you're going to be there and they're seeking you out. Whereas other people are like, oh, I didn't know you were playing here tonight. Because the venue haven't done anything about it. And it could transform the night if they actually put some effort into that in their socials and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no diabolical stories, just awkward gigs.
No, that's some good stuff though. So is there anything that we haven't spoken about that you'd like to speak about?
Not really. You know, you've touched on the stuff.
Yeah,
I would say like you said, there's a lot of traditional bands, and they may all be awesome, but there tends to be a lot of repetition, and we definitely haven't invented DJ Live.
No.
You know, it's been around for decades, but we love what we do, and we put the time into it, and it's paying off, and it's awesome. Yeah, that was about it really.
Yeah, I'd say just do what you're passionate about. I think people can get bogged down with the business side of things. Obviously it's good to have a good business head on you, but you know, if you're selecting songs based on their position in the chart only, and you'd hate them all, like it's not necessarily always the best, because that will come across in your performance. So yeah, do what you love.
Awesome. So if people wanted to find out more about you or connect with you, where would you send them?
Instagram or our website, probably. Yeah, at JBMAC Live, or our website, jbmac.co.uk. We're pretty responsive because we don't take a day off, so we're always there.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I think people should give you a follow just to see like how a good run social media looks. So yeah, awesome, man. I've really enjoyed this conversation, and it's really good to chat with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hopefully we'll catch up soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jack.
I told you that was going to be a good episode. One of my favorites so far, for sure. Make sure you go and give them a follow, and you can find the links to their social media in the description of the episode. I've been really enjoying getting your emails, so please keep them coming. You can email me at feedback@thefulltimefunctionmusicianpodcast.co.uk, or you can find me on Instagram at InFocusRecordingCo, CO on the end there. And lastly, if you're enjoying this podcast, which I know some of you are because you've told me, you know who you are. I would love it if you could either give the podcast a share, spread the word, or leave a review on whatever podcast app you use. Or even better, if you could do both, I would hugely, hugely appreciate it. Anyway, next week's episode is going to be awesome. It's a little different to what we've done so far, I think, as me and my guests are going to be diving into the world of IEMs, which is something that I get asked about all the time. Anyways, that's enough from me. I'll catch you next week for episode 8.